Now to speak on the challenges and economic benefits in the cotton and textile value chain, as the government expressed willingness to revive this sector, is the Director of Administration of National Cotton Association of Nigeria. Ado Sule, you're welcome to
Thank
Business
you.
Express.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Mr. Ado, the global textile industry is said to be valued at $920 billion. It's expected to grow about $1.3 trillion. If this is so, why then is Nigeria's textile industry struggling? Like we had from that stakeholder engagement, we are having only 24 surviving textiles in Nigeria as against the over 200 in previous times. Why are we here today?
Well, as you know, the textile industry used to be the second employer of labor in Nigeria in those days, when the country had not discovered oil, and the country was mostly dependent on agriculture, which cotton is one. But eventually, after the discovery of oil, the industry was neglected. Most of the structures put on ground to ensure production is done and financing and all that were not adhered to. So eventually, the industry gradually faded out. Not until in 2019, when the federal government decided to come back and revisit the industry. But even that was not sustained. It was only done for one season, the cotton production. But even at that just that intervention actually brought up the production of cotton in Nigeria to over 200,000 metric tons output. But again, it was not sustained, and eventually there was no financing, and most of the farmers now went back to their normal routine of farming.
Okay, aside the raw materials, yes, we've had challenges of, is it black oil? We have challenges of people bringing some of these finished products, and the local industries could not compete with them. Talking about issues of also smuggling and all of that are some of the challenges. Yet, government brought in a lot of interventions. Yet, you mentioned some of the interventions without being so specific. Though we expect that as a conversation is ongoing. But then, with all that government did, and of recently under the Anko Borrowers scheme, why are we still struggling at this particular point in time?
Well, like you know, Nigeria is actually one of the biggest markets of fabrics. That's cotton, the end products of cotton. And there's this, for the fact that there was a neglect in the sector, the other countries that produce cotton took advantage of this neglect and now made sure that they bought their products here. And there were even instances where they will even stamp some of these textile fabrics as made in Nigeria, bring it in as a cheaper price, and that actually contributed in making sure that this is don't strive. And we've been having a lot of sabotages even in the interventions. You discover that some of these countries' agents will use some merchants, go into the field even when there's cotton production, and buy it off from our farmers, and they don't allow it to go through the process. Like, for example, when the Anko Borrowers program came, production went up. There was a lot of cotton available. We saw it, we monitored it, and to ensure that it goes through the process of the loan that was issued. But unfortunately, we discovered that most of this cotton just disappeared into the hands of these saboteurs, and in that process, it discovered that that's what caused most of the issues of lack of payment and all that. So I believe that if that program was sustained, we could have identified some of these sabotaging agents and be able to see how we can curb it and continue the production and make sure that we go back to our past glory.
To go back to Past glory. Now the federal government, in collaboration with the International Cotton Advisory Committee, is here and they are kickstarting the resuscitation of Nigeria's cotton value chain. What should they be looking out for, following the experiences of what has happened before now? More so that it's something, there's a strategy that must be put in place to ensure the sustainability. What do you think they should be doing?
Actually, in fact, the visit of the ICAC is not the first interaction we've had with the federal government in terms of revamping the industry. There was another, they were having meetings with the Minister of, Federal Minister of Industry, Trade, and they were coming in with a lot of monies from Afri-Exim Bank. And part of the target we were given was to be able to cultivate about 250,000 hectares of cotton by next season, and 750,000 in 7 years. So the coming of ICAC has now even added a lot of value to this, because the Vice President is not only talking about 250 hectares, 1,000 hectares or 500,000 hectares, he's now talking about 1 million hectares. And you know, the ICAC is an international body that we are supposed to be part of. But unfortunately, we've not been meeting up with their requirements and all that. But now that they are back and they're here, and we are back into their fold, we had an interaction yesterday in a meeting with them, and we were able to trash out a lot of issues concerning the sustainability. And part of this thing is to see how we can actually go back to the farm and produce cotton.
What does it take? Sorry to hold your thought at this level. What does it take to produce cotton and in large quantity? I'm asking this because I want to also even know the fabric you're wearing, is it made of cotton or a mixture or some other material? Because I understand that a lot of stuff we wear on as garments today are made from polyester, and polyester is a byproduct of some petrochemical stuffs, and most of that our refineries hopefully are coming back. We might just have this product so much. What's the competition like? Because some have argued that even when we produce this cotton and we get to have fabrics from it, it might not just be affordable for Nigerians, it might just be too expensive. But then if it is about exports, that means we're going to have foreign exchange for the country. Take us through that process.
Yeah, you know, there is, you can do pure fabric made of cotton. It can also be a mixture of cotton and synthetic, you know, fiber materials. And also you can do the synthetic purely. So there are 3 categories in this process. So, but you know, we actually don't have machinery in Nigeria now, based, like I said, about the petroleum industry, petrochemical industry that is not thriving. But for now, we can start with the cotton. At least let us see how we can go back to the farm and bring up the produce cotton. And as you know, we are not only talking about, when you talk about cotton, cotton is a vast, the value chain is vast. You're not only talking about the textile industry and all that. As you know, cotton is also a product that is seeds. We call it cotton seeds. Can be used to produce oil, cooking oil. And part of the, after extracting the cooking oil from the seed, you can, the byproduct of that can be used as animal feed. And you also know that cotton also is only what is done in supply, doing wool for hospitals and all that. So you see the value chain is vast. It's not only the textile. It has other uses that I cannot even finish talking about in this program. So let's start with the cotton first. Build up that the production. Make sure that our existing ginneries and textile industries are giving raw materials. For now, we are really in short supply of these raw materials because an average jean company in Nigeria needs about 600,000 metric tons of cotton to produce in full capacity. And as it is, now we can hardly even get 150 hectares, especially when this the anchor brothers that came and left. So if we can sustain productivity, the production of silk cotton to feed these ginning companies and the textiles, and also see to it that even the ginning companies, existing ones, are retooled and given enough finance to be able to process cotton into lint that will form part of what is going into the spinning and the textile industries. And they are able to stabilize their finance and be able to grow. Then we can now go into other, form of making fabrics.
Okay, Mr. Suli, let's get the numbers right. We were talking about the Uncle Boros succeeded in bringing to the numbers of hectares like 150, and that is not enough. We're having like 20 textile companies in Nigeria that are functional as against the 200, and now with the present initiative, we're talking about having about 1 million plus hectares to be cultivated. What is needed in numbers, in terms of hectares, to meet the present production level and to see how much more companies can be resuscitated? And when we're talking about these monies, what are the numbers like? It's in millions, in billions, in a trillion? What are we looking at? And will government be able, with the support, yes, we have development partners coming in, what will be the expectations of government and private sector?
Actually, you see, to cultivate, as it is today, to cultivate 1 hectare of cotton in Nigeria is about 500,000 to 600,000 naira per hectare. Now, if you multiply that by like 1 million, you know the figure you get at. I don't have the calculator on my head, but if you multiply like 500,000 with 1 million hectares of land, maybe you'll be talking about hectares, we're talking about maybe about 5 billion or thereabout. So, and that's even not in shortfall. We can start with 1 million hectares, but what if we want to really get this production going and to satisfy the industries and even the ones that might be coming? I think we have to be able to cultivate up to 5 million. I know that in a state like Niger alone has about 700,000 hectares of land available for production. That's just one state. So if most of the state governors, and one thing that people don't know is that cotton can actually grow in every part of the country. Like our association has 33 states that we farm cottons, both in the south, southeast, southwest, and all that. So there is hardly any state apart from the ones that are riverine that are, they are.
Cotton cannot be grown.
Cotton cannot be grown where you have too much swamps.
Okay. With these expectations and with the targets we're planning towards, what will be the impact on job creation? A quick one.
Wow. I think we should be able to, even with the 1 million hectares, we'll be able to raise about, just like we have said, about 1.57 million jobs. And if the cotton industry goes into full production and achieves its full potential, I think cotton, the industry alone can take up to 50 million jobs. Because you look at the downstream and upstream, look at the externalities in the production and all that, we can get up to 50 million jobs. So it is going to put a lot of youths out of the streets if we can really achieve the full potential of the cotton production, considering the whole value chain of cotton.
Thank you very much. 50 million jobs on the way in the cotton value chain. That's a huge one. And let's see how we work towards it collectively. Thank you very much, Adosuli, for your contribution at this particular point in time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Great.